Bulletcast for life. Get up! This is a revolution! This is our time to rise! Look deep within your mind, look deep into the hate in my eyes! We are the elite, and you are the weak! No matter how hard I fall, I'll get back up on my feet! Red alert, this is gonna hurt when you're...
Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the most must-hear podcast in the world today. I'm your host, the Microphone Messiah, no longer the Bulletcast champion. I lost it to Baby Huey. Congratulations, buddy. You're a two-time champion. We're doing video, ladies and gentlemen. We're doing video. We're here on Zoom. We're here to spice it up, in the pandemic era, It's time to shake things up again, as Vinnie Mac likes to say. But I never do this alone. He's my tag team partner, the Jim and my J, the Totem Arm, the Stevie Ray to my Booker T. He's the host of the award-winning Under the Radar, host of Creative Curveballs and Chair Shots, the first ever and 8-time Bulletcast champion, the Canadian Destroyer, BT, Brandon 10 Guma. BT, how you doing, bud? It's been a while. Haven't seen you in a while.
I know. Usually we never do videos, so, I'm just like sitting here looking like utter crap. So I had to doll myself up a little bit. So I had to do so much work to get ready for the podcast today.
Hey, you're a specimen in my eyes, man, and in the eyes of the people. In the eyes of the people. I got an email about video, and I'm like, you know what? Let's bring it back for a little bit. Probably won't do video every week, or we may. I don't know. I don't know what's gonna happen. But we're gonna jump right into it, ladies and gentlemen. All right, Brandon, what are your thoughts on All Out, dude?
Well, I was up at the family cabin in Yosemite, so I was able to watch it live, but unfortunately I couldn't join you guys for the All Out recap because the internet up there is just not good enough to join the party. But I watched the show. Was a little disappointed by it. I mean, I like the tag matches, the Jungle Boy Young Bucks match, or Lucha, what's it? Lucha, or see, I'm on video, and I'm just like so flustered right now. I don't know what to do with myself.
It was the Young Bucks Jurassic Express.
That's their name.
That's
the Jurassic
their name,
Express.
Yes.
And then also the FTR Hangman and Adam Page, or Hangman and Kenny Omega match. I mean, I think for the most part, none of the matches really lived up to my expectations. The Big Swole Britt Baker match, I thought that thing was just utter trash. I don't know why they even put that on the show. It was just cringe. And then obviously the big thing everyone's talking about, the Matt Hardy situation. It was scary. I mean, he was clearly concussed. He was clearly knocked out. I know maybe Tony Khan says differently that he doesn't have a concussion, but I mean, come on. The man was knocked out, unconscious. And I mean, I know people might put blame on Matt and Sammy. I put a little bit of blame on them just because, you guys don't be doing those types of spots, but I definitely put more blame on AEW just because, like, you guys can have a protocol in place to, if something like that happens, then you need to stop the match. And they should have stopped the match, but it was very similar to the SummerSlam angle and match with Stone Cold and Owen Hart, where Stone Cold broke his neck, but they had to finish the match because of the stipulation put in place. And because the stipulation was that if Matt Hardy lost, he had to leave, I think they just felt obligated to go straight to the finish. But I feel you could have just stopped the match, call Sammy the winner, and then Sammy could cut some promo and, like, say that he wasn't able to do everything he wanted to do, so let's have the match again and, double or nothing or something like that. You can, just because you had the stipulation put in place doesn't mean you have to go to the finish. Yes, I know maybe Matt was somewhat coherent, but even when he was climbing up that scaffold, you can see that he was slipping. He could have fell again, and who knows what could have happened. And so overall, I mean, I thought the match was a little bit of a disappointment. I think I have a higher expectation for AEW matches or AEW shows in general. The show also went way too long. I think WWE has realized in this pandemic era, you should do shorter shows, not longer shows. And AEW, maybe I like the longest show that we've had in some time.
Absolutely, dude. I mean, you hit the nail on the head with a lot of it. If you want to hear my thoughts, please go listen to the In the Click recap I did with Huey, or the AEW All Out recap I did with Cindy here for the BC. All right, we're actually going to talk SmackDown, dude. We're going to talk the Blue Brand. So here we go. The Tribal Chief and the Special Counsel, Roman Reigns and Paul Heyman, come out after Roman Reigns' Universal Championship win at Payback. And, Paul, he didn't scream. He whispered. He says he's the special counsel to the Tribal Chief and this isn't his yard anymore. This is his island. I thought it was very well said, you know. And Roman was like, "I told you I was gonna wreck everyone and leave, and that's exactly what I did. So now all I have to do is show up and win, you know." And then you cut to the new shirt. Go get it on WWEshop.com. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, it's a much different dynamic with Paul Heyman and Roman Reigns compared to Paul Heyman and Brock Lesnar. I mean, I wouldn't say they're equals with Brock Lesnar, but Paul Heyman's definitely is more subservient to Roman Reigns. Roman got a little bit of talking in. I think he did just enough. He's not going to just sit there. It's not the exact same thing with Paul and Brock, which I appreciate. And it shouldn't be. It should be a completely different, dynamic, completely different act. And I think Roman, the way he carries himself is always kind of the way people saw him and the way he carried himself as a babyface. And I think he's just turning up that much more to be a little more arrogant, a little bit more annoying. And I also did like the backstage angle or, talking segment that they did with Jey Uso, which obviously we can talk about him in a little bit, but I just liked how he was just so dismissive and he was, too cool for school, which is kind of what everyone says. At least that's what I would say. He came across like when he was a babyface, and now he's doing the exact same thing as a heel, and it works perfectly fine.
Absolutely, 100%, bro. Moving on from the whole Roman thing, we're gonna get to Jey Uso in a little bit, but Bayley finally turns on Sasha. The golden role models are no more. I mean, it's just been bad luck for my girl Sasha, losing the Raw Women's title, losing the Women's Tag titles, losing the rematch, and then her best friend just turning on her. I mean, what are your thoughts on the Bayley beatdown?
I mean, we thought that this was going to be coming sooner rather than later. I think having Bayley as the heel instead of Sasha, which is something we've seen so many times, I think it's a good mix-up. I mean, we've seen this storyline be played out for such a long period of time, and I think that it's time for something to happen is very similar to that Kenny Omega Adam Page situation where it's like, okay, we've been here for so long, let's try to get to that next chapter, and we're definitely seeing that right now with Bayley and Sasha. So, I mean, I'm not too excited and really knowing what they're going to be doing. I think Sasha being a babyface, I mean, I really want to see her be that top tier babyface in WWE because right now with Becky being out, you don't only have that. So I think if Sasha could go and fill that spot, I know it's maybe 6 months too late because Becky's been gone for so long, but I think Sasha can be that person. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, they don't need to wrestle like Clash of Champions. Let's hold off. I mean, what Clash of Champions? Then I don't know what's in October. I'd say Survivor Series, sure. Let them face off, but Survivor Series they normally do the Raw Women's Champion versus the SmackDown Women's Champion. We're going to talk about title unifications here in a little bit on the show, but just kind of hold off on it. Really, people are saying they could get this all the way to next Mania. I don't know about that. I think that seems too far along. You'd be going on 3 years of this storyline if you do that. But we are going to move on from that. So there was a fatal four-way for the number one contendership for Roman Reigns' Universal Championship. Originally, it was Big E, Matt Riddle, King Corbin, and Sheamus. Sheamus attacks Big E, so he's out. So they replace him with Jey Uso, and Jey Uso wins. So it's cousin versus cousin for the Universal title here in a couple weeks at Clash of Champions. What are your thoughts on that?
It's a good introductory match for Roman as a heel. It's a good, solid family storyline. It's Clash of Champions. You don't need to have that big-time matchup. Yes, Jay hasn't been doing really anything for a long period of time, but I think just kind of putting him in there, throwing him in there. As I said, I did like the little backstage talk they had to kind of set it up. And it's just a simple storyline that you can have Roman beat him clean, maybe even go a little bit too far to put extra sympathy and extra heat on, Jay and Roman respectively. So I like the move. It's different, I think, especially with SmackDown. And I mean, even kind of just WWE in general, they have kind of run through all the top guys already. And it's just not very, it's not fresh. It's not fresh and like all these matchups. So I think Jay being in that top tier spot. I mean, he's not going to obviously be there forever. This is just a one-off match. And I think WWE should do that more often where you just kind of have a guy win a match, win a couple matches, get hot, and then he just loses.
Yeah, that's the trajectory that goes on with WWE. I wouldn't have been opposed to see Matt Riddle, take him on. Maybe they're trying to save that for a later date. Sheamus, I don't think it would have worked. He still has some business with Big E. King Corbin, we saw that for quite a bit last year, so we don't need to see that again just yet. And but I'm all in favor of Jay doing it. He's either going to get wrecked pretty decisively, or he's going to have a nice little showing against his cousin. We don't know. Moving on to Outside of the Ring, ladies and gentlemen, there's a new children's book that is coming out. I think it's September 15th. S is for Suplex. It's by Ryan L. Schwartz. I don't know how to pronounce his last name. Let's not even get into that. But yeah, it's to help kids, with their alphabet, and all the alphabet is wrestling terms. So A is announcers, B is baby faces, C is championships. Brandon, have you heard about this? If so, what are your thoughts?
I have not heard about this. It takes me back to those Mick Foley days where I might have been a young child, or 12, or I went to go get one of those children's books. I think I still have it somewhere around here. I think it's maybe the first or second children's book that he did. So it kind of takes me back to that. And, it's always good to kind of switch things up, let the kids learn their ABCs in a wrestling terminology type of way.
Absolutely. I think I might have to buy this for my little cousins, teach them what a true heel is. Absolutely. I'm down for it. All right, WWE putting a ban on all third-party opportunities. This news broke after we recorded last week, but since then it has changed to where they're not necessarily putting a ban on it. Superstars will be able to continue using those third-party platforms just under their real names. So this caused a real uproar in the wrestling community where people were like, man, that's stupid. How are they going to make money? And I'm like, guys, let's be real. These guys make more money in a week than we make in 6 months. Let's calm down, It's funny when you have guys like AJ Styles who, he owns the name, but currently his AJ Styles is his intellectual property, but maybe the trademark or copyright or whatever is currently working for WWE. And you have people like Paige has already changed it to her real name and stuff like that. So, what are your thoughts on Twitch and Cameo getting the boot?
When the news first came out, I definitely was one of those people that was like, oh, what the hell is this? This is crap. This is WWE trying to, just hold all their quote unquote independent contractors and just limit them to what they can do. But when it comes out that they kind of changed it up to where it couldn't be their property, where it can be their names, I was a little bit more understanding than that. Yes, it is very petty. How much money are they really making from these Twitch, YouTube cameos and stuff like that? But for the most part, like the people I've followed, like I follow Asuka on her YouTube, and that's already was never Asuka to begin with. It was Kana-chan, so it's back in her old school days. So I think wrestlers kind of already knew that, and they're already also like formerly of the Iconics, Billie Kay and Peyton Royce. They have their own YouTube channels, and they're under their own real name. So this is, I don't know if they knew about this, and it's like they just are trying to get themselves out there for future endeavors. But WWE just always has the reputation of being kind of petty and doing things like this. They're a multi-billion-dollar corporation, and they're worried about pennies and worried about their independent contractors and treating them like employees, even though they're not paying them or treating them like employees.
Yeah, you do get into that whole thing. It's a double-edged sword, man. It really is. You look at it, and you have guys like Xavier Woods, Austin Creed, who has used his real name on his Up Up Down Down channel for years. And I think WWE, they're trying to figure out some kind of technology to where they can do these kind of things under their platform and umbrella, because you don't want people to kind of say something that will leak out there and under their character name, and it causes a big uproar. That's why Tout's coming back. It's the new Cameo.
Daniel Bryan, big on the tout.
Big.
He still has tout.
He's a big touter. Big touter. All right. Apparently, Double or Nothing blew WrestleMania 36 out of the water. This is the word from the owner of All Elite Wrestling, Tony Khan. Brandon, what are your thoughts on that?
Well, when he means blows it out of the water, what does that exactly mean?
It was a better show than WrestleMania 36.
I would have to disagree on that. We have to go back a little bit. I have to go back a ways for me to kind of remember what exactly happened. I remember more what happened at WrestleMania than what happened at Double or Nothing. So maybe that just kind of proves that I thought WrestleMania was a better show than Double or Nothing. But I thought Double or Nothing was better than All Out, as I kind of said. I was down on All Out. But, that's just company speak. You're always going to want to say that you're the better promotion. You had the better shows and everything like that. But, technically speaking, if there's numbers to back it up, then there's probably some metric out there that you can twist and say that Double or Nothing was better.
Absolutely. We have some sad news. Ralphus, he was the lackey to Jericho when he was in WCW. John Riker. Apparently, he died last year and nobody knew about it. Jericho mentioned this on one of his Saturday Night specials. I think it was like last week. That yeah, he had reached out to him and uh, Ralphus asked, "Was this the real Jericho?" He was like, "Yeah, man. Here's my number." And he never heard from him, and then he found out like a few months later that he had passed away. R.I.P. Ralphus, man. No, very influential in the quirkiness of Jericho and WCW.
Yeah, I think I might have heard something that he passed away little time ago, but obviously he's much more remembered with the time he spent with Jericho, and he was just like a random truck driver for WCW or something like that. And Jericho was like, "Oh, that guy has a look to him. Bring him on. He could be my security to, make fun of Goldberg and his shtick." But then, I mean, Ralphus also did some things without Jericho later on in the run, for better or for worse. So, I mean, shout out Ralphus. He's just kind of one of those kooky characters that if you know, you know.
If you know, you know. Absolutely. All right. Do you know about the Go Big show?
I do know about the Go Big Show. When I read it on the script, I was like, is he talking about like the Big Show on Netflix, which got canceled, unfortunately, no season 2, but
What?
I know.
Blasphemy.
There will be a Christmas special, though, I've been told.
Oh, okay.
So you can say
Yeah.
goodbye to the Big Show.
Yes. Um. Yeah. So through AEW Dynamite, we were told we're going to get an update from Cody, and it airs right after the main event. And Cody's like, I'm hurt right now. So in the meantime, I'm going to be doing this. And it's this big reality show that's going to be on TBS still with the Time Warner family. And Bert Kreischer, he's a comedian. I've watched his stuff. He does this great stand up about this Russian machine, which is hilarious. And yeah, it's like America's Got Talent and swords and all this other weird stuff. Cody's a judge. Snoop Dogg, D-O-double-G, shout out. He's a judge. Rosario Dawson, I'm a big fan of her work. She's going to be a judge. Yeah, man. What were your thoughts when you saw this?
Well, I was watching AEW on the DVR, so I fast forward after the main event. I was like, okay, the show's over, and then I see Cody. And I was like, oh, is Cody like going to cut a promo about Brody Lee? And then I was like fumbling, trying to rewind it and try to figure out. And then all of that work just to find out it's some reality show that I might watch for a little bit because my brother's a big fan of Bert Kreischer. I might check out the debut episode, and then after that, I'll be like, okay, this is dumb. I'm not going to watch this because I don't watch any of the other talent shows, so I'm going to watch this one
But you watched The Bachelorette.
and The Bachelor
Oh,
and Bachelor in Paradise.
okay. You watched 90 Day Fiance. You do that too?
I do not watch that. I mean, I have some people that I follow on Twitter that talk about it, so I kind of keep up with it a little bit peripherally. So I know the dude with no neck. I know him. That's all I got.
Speaking of reality TV, The Kardashians is ending next year, which is a travesty.
So sad.
It really is. I've seen people bury it. I am a big Kardashians guy here, ladies and gentlemen. One of the first reality shows I ever watched, that and Flavor of Love.
On my original iPod, I actually have like a few Keeping Up with the Kardashian episodes on my iPod. Why? Probably because they were free and I was a teenage boy. So there you go.
Snap. Favorite Kardashian?
I mean, it's got to be Kim.
She was the childhood crush for the longest time, but as I became an adult male, I'm like, you know what, Courtney's my favorite. She
Oh,
seems
so Chloe number 2. She's a good brother. she looks like a good time.
Okay, no. Inside of the ring, Finn Balor, the Prince, has reclaimed the NXT Championship. Finn XT is in full effect. Brandon, you're the NXT guy here. Tell us.
Well, yeah, after the hour-long Iron Man Fatal 4-Way that didn't even get a conclusion, we kick off Super Tuesday 2 with Finn Balor versus Adam Cole, which I very much enjoyed because when you have it at the beginning of the show, you never know when the match is going to end, and I thought this match was absolutely phenomenal. I really liked it. I thought maybe I liked it more than any match on All Out. They had, it went about 25 minutes thereabout, and they go back and forth. They have the one big kick out where Adam Cole kicks out of the coup de grace, Finn Balor kicks out of the last shot, and then the story of the match was Finn Balor was getting his knee worked over, but in the end, Finn was able to hit a super Bloody Sunday or 1916 for the win. And Finn is your new champion. I very much liked this move because since Adam Cole was just the champion, I don't think you need to go right back into it. Finn kind of hasn't been doing too much since he has returned to NXT. So I think having him as the champion, a little breath of fresh air, he, I guess, is a babyface in the situation, but overall, I really like what they can do. And if Karrion Kross comes back in a timely fashion, Finn is still champion, I think that is a very good match that they can do. Also, this was kind of the first real time we've seen Adam Cole as a true blue babyface. They have a little backstage talk. They too sweet each other. We get a post-match promo where Adam Cole is, the better man won, blah, blah, blah. Finn Balor better watch out because if we have another one, I'm going to win. It was the most straight babyface thing I've seen from Adam Cole thus far. And I haven't been too big of a fan of his babyface turn thus far because it really hasn't been a babyface turn.
No, it hasn't. I mean, the Undisputed Era, you got O'Reilly not really wanting to beat up Drake Maverick. You have oh my God, Bobby Fish and Roderick Strong beating up Drake Maverick and Killian Dane. So you have a lot of interesting stuff going on NXT. Since we're here, what were your thoughts on the main event, the Battle of the Badasses?
I like that match a lot as well. It was a fun, plunder-filled women's cage match, something that we've seen on NXT a few times. And I think both of these women definitely delivered. I think they could have had a fantastic straight-up one-on-one match, but they had some fun with the tables and the chairs and the cage and everything like that. Robert Stone getting involved, which, I mean, it's Robert Stone. If he's never on NXT again, I wouldn't be sad to see him go, but I thought it was very good. I still think the NXT match was a little bit better, but it was a different type of match. And I think because it was a cage match, it definitely fit the billing to be a main event on NXT.
Wow. All right, this day in wrestling, Eric Bischoff leaves WCW in 1999. Raw on this day in 2001, Tajiri becomes United States champion. SmackDown 2002, you have Brock Lesnar versus Bob Holly, where Brock Lesnar breaks Bob Holly's neck. Raw on this day in 2007, you have the World Heavyweight Champion Khali, because that happened, faces Intercontinental Champion Jeff Hardy. Raw in 2012, this was the episode where Jerry Lawler suffers his heart attack. Very, very scary time. And Don Morocco, former two-time Intercontinental Champion, former King of the Ring winner in 1985. He is 71 years old today. Any thoughts about the things that happened on this day? Do you see clearly?
Of course, I see clearly. But, I mean, the thing that stands out, obviously, is the Jerry Lawler heart attack, Raw. I mean, I remember it when it happened, and I didn't really notice, like, him breathing heavy or something going on at the beginning. But then, obviously, as, things went on, you can see people looking over in the crowd, and I thought maybe there was a fight or something happened, but then, obviously, word started going around, and, very scary situation, but then luckily he had the heart attack where he did, because if he had it like in his hotel room or something, it could have been a lot worse.
Absolutely, 100%. All right, ladies and gentlemen, it's fan mail time! Yay! We're gonna hear from the people. We're gonna hear from all the people. All right. Jack of all trades, the Prince has regained the championship. So happy for Finn. Can't wait to see what he does with this reign as NXT champion. Awesome. Alfie Lewis, my sister watched parts of Dynamite with me, and she saw Sonny. Wow. She saw Sonny kiss and yelled, "Yes, Queen." Okay. Robert Walker, hey guys, I've really enjoyed the interviews you guys have been uploading. They feel so natural and not generic, and it helps with the video with watching them. Thanks, man. Brandon, I've done some interviews over the last couple days. We had Bimbo Jimbo of the Channel Media Network, good buddy of mine, and we had the outlandish one, Zicky Dice, the current NWA television champion. Despite the rumors, he's still with the NWA, still the TV champ. What have been your thoughts, man?
Well, Philip, I definitely did listen to these, and I very much enjoyed the Bimbo Jimbo one because obviously, we've hung out with him a few times, and being that he is an SF State graduate, just like I am. See, hold on. See, now that we're on video, I can do things like this. See, I got my sash. See, even though I never actually got to walk, but I still bought it, and still haven't gotten my diploma yet, so I'm a little scared about that. But anyways, so yeah, him being from SF State and looking into being in sports media, just like I am. So I thought that was a very interesting talk that you had with him as well. And then Zicky Dice, I haven't finished it yet, but I thought he was very outlandish, as the name would suggest. I didn't know that he was, looking at helping disabled people. Very nice of him. Definitely not outlandish of him.
Absolutely, man. Yeah, I interviewed TJP yesterday. That was really fun. We got into like this 15, 20-minute conversation about copyrights, IPs, and trademarks, and his pet pigs, of course, and Impact. That goes up tomorrow. I'm really looking forward to that. That, guys, that's going to be a lot of fun. All right, in Brightest Day X.
Shout out Mr. X.
He's been killing it with the graphics, by the way. Happy Miro Day, everybody. Yes, we are going to talk about that. What's up with the subtitles for WWE's pay-per-views lately? The Horror Show, You'll Never See It Coming, and Gold Rush for Clash of Champions. I don't know. I think they're just trying to be different. You know, we had The Horror Show, and You'll Never See It Coming. We didn't see it coming. Roman came back, you know? And Gold Rush, it's Clash of Champions. You know, every championship is on the line. It's a rush for the gold. I get it. Do you get it? You understand, Brandon?
I get it. Gold, like a title belt gold, but not the tag team title because that's not gold.
Yes, absolutely. No, it's Silver Rush. All right, and the Mysterio family beat down on Murphy was one of the greatest things I've ever seen. Yeah, speaking of that, I missed one. Hootie Who did write in.
Hootie Who.
Ladies and gentlemen, the beatdown on Murphy was absolutely insane. That man has a damn family. He does have a family. He does. We are going to get into the beatdown of Murphy. We're going to talk AEW. We're going to talk it all. So with that being said, let's jump over to Monday Night Raw, the flagship.
Phillip, while you introduce Raw, there's a cat stuck in my room, so I'm going to have to leave momentarily to let the cat out.
Oh, Jesus.
Because it's scratching at the door, and I don't want it to be like that thing on Family Guy where it's just like keeps scratching at the door, and then like it's like, you know, very gory, and there's no hands, and yeah.
Oh, Jesus. It made great video, but no.
That would not make a great video. Very gruesome you are.
Absolutely. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are going to go to Monday Night Raw. Drew McIntyre, Claymore's Randall Keith Orton, not once, not twice, but thrice times. Claymore's him in the main ring. He Claymore's him in a side ring. Randy Orton is just getting all of it, just getting all the Claymore kicks on Monday nights. I know you don't like Randy, Brandon. What are your thoughts on my boy just getting Claymore City, Claymoreville, country, whatever it is?
Well, I think because Randy has just been getting one up on McIntyre for such a long period of time that it was finally McIntyre's turn to, you know, give him a receipt or two or three. I did not like the ambulance, you know, him taking over the ambulance and driving it, because every time they do that, they get me excited thinking that Scott Steiner is making his return. Don't like that.
Hey, man, I'm ready for Scott Steiner to come in and just teach us some math, man. Maybe I would have done better in math in school if Steiner had taught me. Yeah. All right, Buddy Murphy was caned by the entire Mysterio family. Angie, the mother, Ray, you have Dominic, and you have the sister. They're all just beating up Murphy. How dare them?
No Seth Rollins to be seen, so I don't know if this means Seth has definitely shunned Murphy to the side, and I don't know if this is the way you really turn Buddy Murphy babyface. It would be apropos because it's pretty much the same way Seth Rollins turned babyface, because the Authority discarded him, and now he's like, oh, you know, no one likes me, so will you guys like me? But I'd like the match. It was Dominic, you know, getting his ass kicked for a long, long time, as, you know, really all these matches with him have been. And then, you know, he gets a lot of outside interference, a lot of help from the family. Not the most babyface thing to do, but because Murphy and Seth have put the family through so much, you're able to forgive them and realize, you know, what they're doing and stuff like that. I mean, the ending, it was definitely a sight to behold. I mean, shout out the sister. I mean, the sister has a hell of a swing on her. I don't know if she played softball or baseball or what, but she has a future in Singapore caning.
Oh, is that a sport?
Maybe in Singapore. I don't know.
Hey now. All right. We have a Tag Team Champions promo. We have the Raw Tag Team Champions, the Street Profits, and the SmackDown Tag Team Champions, Shinsuke Nakamura and Cesaro, and they say they're going to have a champion versus champion match next week. And Shinsuke's like, we want. And then Dawkins like, hold on, bro, copyrights. Or gimmick infringement, whatever. Yeah, so rumor has it that WWE is looking to unify the Tag Team Championships. I'm all for it. You know, we've been very vocal on the show. One world champion, and I mean, I would prefer one world champion, but, you know, if they brought the big gold back, I wouldn't be opposed to it. That's absolutely fine. But seriously, one set of tag champs, one set of a woman's title. Brandon, I know you've been an advocate for this for some time.
Yeah, I'm definitely for less titles. I mean, even pretty much in every promotion, I feel like there's too many titles. I mean, even in my beloved New Japan, they're putting way too many titles out there. But WWE definitely is a culprit of this, and especially with the tag team division where it's not very deep. And when you split them in half, it's even less deep. I mean, with the New Day being out injured, SmackDown, I mean, to be honest, I kind of forgot that Cesaro and Nakamura were the tag team champions to begin with. So, I mean, the Street Profits, and as they said in the promo, they're more known for doing these funny comedy skits with the Viking Warrior experience than actually defending their titles and having good matches. So, I mean, I think there was a rumor out there that there were new tag titles being made or they were finished. So if you combined them, have very similar to the women's tag team titles where they can bounce back and forth, do it for the men, you know, and the tag team division would definitely be better just because there's not, you're not diluting the situation. So when people are trying to unify titles, I'm all for it. Let's get Roman versus Drew to unify that title as well.
Absolutely. I mean, this isn't like the early to mid 2000s where you had the world tag titles and the WWE tag titles, and there were enough teams to go back and forth. I mean, we had some mixed match teams like a Goldust and a Booker T, but it worked. You know what I mean? So we don't have that nowadays, and I'm excited for one tag team champion. All right, what else happened on Raw? Cedric Alexander joins the Hurt Business. I'm in. I will be joining the Hurt Business once my shirt arrives. Yes, sir.
Good for you.
So, what are your thoughts on it?
Cedric joining the Hurt Business. It's almost kind of like the thing I said with Murphy and Seth. He got beat up for such a long period of time that now, if you can't beat him, join him, I guess. But, Cedric joining as a heel, that's interesting. I've never really seen him be a heel before. I wasn't really known to what he could do on the indie scene, but I think he was much more babyface there as well. So Cedric being more of a heel, I don't know what this means for the Hurt Business hierarchy. Does this mean that Shelton is still the low man on the totem pole and he's kind of the designated guy to do the jobs with MVP? But if Cedric is the guy who's going to be losing a lot, it really doesn't make any sense because Cedric has been there and he hasn't really been getting much of a push. But now if he joins the Hurt Business, gets a little more of a push. I don't see him making that main event run. So the only place I really see him at is in the United States division, which Lashley holds a championship, unless they do Cedric and Shelton or Cedric and MVP as a tag team, which I guess that can work, but that doesn't really excite me.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see where they go from here. I'm down for Shelton and Alexander as tag champs. Especially if we get some unification here. Shelton Benjamin, one of the greatest tag team champions in the company's history, so I'm down for it. Peyton Royce defeats Billy Kay. They had a one-on-one match, and yeah, that happened.
It did happen. No one got hurt. That's all we can ask for. After I thought Peyton turned heel, I guess she's not a heel. They hugged and cried, and it was this beautiful moment that some people cared about.
How can you be a heel with that accent? You love the Aussies. You love them. You absolutely love them. All right. So Asuka and Mickie James defeat, Natalya and Lana. So next week we get Asuka versus Mickie James for the Raw Women's Championship. Yeah.
I'm quite excited for this match. It's a match that we did not see in NXT, but I think this could be a really good match. If it's built properly, I think you should make this the main event or, the anchor of an hour of Raw, just because I feel that the women, they could have a long, lengthy match, make it make sense, make it, make us feel something, like have Mickie cut a promo, be like, oh, this might be the last time I have this opportunity. So I'm going to make it my, give it my best shot and all that stuff. But they're probably just going to throw up some graphics and they go out there, have like a good 10, 15 minute match. And then we're going to forget about it.
Yeah, they could throw shades of what we saw at that one takeover when Asuka was the NXT Women's Champion and Mickie came in. So you never know. Never know. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to move on to AEW. Dynamite! Oh, there we go. You guys got to see it now. It's more enticing, I know. We have the Jurassic Express defeat the Lucha Bros. Jungle Boy gets a roll-up on Pentagon. Why are the Lucha Bros losing? I thought this new alliance with Eddie Kingston was supposed to give them a little oomph when they're in the tag team division wrestling. Pentagon is one of the most badass luchadors ever. What are we doing?
I'm right there with you. I love the Lucha Bros. I feel like them, as well as Santana and Ortiz, definitely are not in the position that they should be. And when they were teasing a breakup, I was like, okay. I mean, I like Penta as a singles guy. Ray Phoenix can be a good singles guy as well. So if they split them off, make them singles guys, I was fine with that. But then you have Eddie Kingston come out with Butcher Blade. He talks them up. They all have, they hug it out. Everything's good. And they still haven't really done anything to make me like this team, which I assume they're baby faces, but I don't understand. I still just don't understand what's the reasoning behind this group. Okay, we all were friends one time or another, but they never really explained it or fleshed that out. And it's just kind of an odd couple team with Butcher and the Blade. So, I mean, Jurassic Express getting the win. Nice to see them kind of being built up, and they're going to have their match with FTR next week. That should be fun. I mean, the match itself was really good, but it's just the story behind everything is kind of a mess at this point.
Absolutely, man. And the whole Eddie Kingston just keeps winking at the camera. I'm like, all right, we're getting too cute with this stuff. Yeah.
What did he say? Oh, yeah, because he said he was never eliminated.
Check the rules. What are we doing? Maybe I should just wink throughout this show. Let's get too cute with it. All right, Matt Hardy comes out and cuts a promo to let the people know that he is okay. He just has to take some time off. His wife, Rebby, was in the audience. He said, he loves her, thank the fans, and when he comes back, he's looking to climb the ranks to become the AEW World Champion.
It was a straightforward promo, very serious, maybe just Matt Hardy the person, not Matt Hardy the character, which was nice, especially after what happened on Saturday. Just kind of come out, talk about it. And, I mean, shout out Rebby and the little Hardy boy. So it was kind of fun to see them. But overall, I mean, it was okay. I still stand by what I said about that match should have been stopped, and I put a lot of heat on the AEW company not having the right protocol for that.
No, absolutely, man, absolutely. We're going to move on to Orange Cassidy defeating Angelico. I forgot this guy was even with the company.
They've done some things here and there for being the elite. Obviously, I think they're overseas, so that was one of the reasons why they couldn't get into the company or get into the country and work for AEW. But, I mean, goes in, loses to Orange Cassidy. I think that's about right. And then we get Santana Ortiz attacking Mr. Orange.
Wow. I mean, we do. To get some heat on them because they have the rivalry with the Best Friends. So next week we get Best Friends versus Santana and Ortiz. Let Santana and Ortiz win, and everything will be okay in the world. All right, next up, the Best Man. So super bad. Kip Sabian, along with his fiancée Penelope Ford, want to announce the Best Man for their wedding. Some large man comes out and Kip Sabian fat shamed him and said, "Don't take up space." And I'm like, "Oh, are we doing that in 2020?" And then Brian Pillman Jr. comes out on his birthday and kind of just gets buried. And so, all in all, the real best man is Miro, a.k.a. Rusev. It's Miro Day in All Elite Wrestling. What are your thoughts on that, man?
I was predicting that Miro was going to come out and be the best man. Now, Penelope and Kip Sabian, they're heels, but, they're not the dastardly heels that you can, you're going to hate them forever. And Miro coming out, I would assume he's going to be a babyface. I mean, he came out, he was lovable. It was kind of like a wink and a nod for everything. The promo itself, I'm just tired of the whole glass ceiling, brass ring thing. I mean, we've seen it so many times in AEW themselves. I mean, besides, the past 20 years since that's been a thing, I feel like it's just so tired and, it's just a tired shot at WWE and yeah, okay, we get it. You were in WWE. You weren't used to your best of your abilities, but can we just forget about that and live in the moment?
Yeah, I'm really getting tired of that. I thought the promo was delivered well, but I'm really getting sick and tired of this burying of WWE and Vince or whatever. I mean, like I said, EC3, this is the best example. The guy, he has every right to be absolutely pissed off at the way he was used on the main roster. He said it didn't work out. That's unfortunate. It's time to move on. Guys, look, you had opportunities. Some of you should have been used better. Yes, absolutely. But hey, all in all, it's time to move on. That's it.
And I'm fine if you're going to throw shade at WWE. I'm cool with that. I mean, if you're clever about it, that's fine. But it's like the brass ring thing is just so cliche and played out at this point. I just roll my eyes when people say that now.
I'm not cool with the shade thrown at Vince and WWE. I don't like that at all. Grow up, guys. Think of something else. Really. All right, we're gonna move on. Where are we? Here we go. Hangman Page has an interview with Tony Schiavone, and he's distraught about what happened between him and the Bucks and losing the tag titles. What are your thoughts?
the promo itself, I thought it was all right to good. I'm just kind of been a little down on the Hangman character just because I loved him so much early on in the year when he was just the badass guy who drank and kicked ass, very similar to Stone Cold, but he wasn't Stone Cold. And now he's kind of down in the dumps. He's, overthinking everything, and he's sad, and none of his friends like him now. I feel like he'll still be a babyface and he'll be fine coming out of it, but I just don't know if this is really the best way to portray your up and coming, maybe top tier babyface, your own babyface, not like John Moxley who made his name somewhere else.
Yeah, absolutely, man. I don't know. I mean, let's wait to see where it goes. But then I guess we can just jump ahead to the Kenny Omega interview. Also, he did with good old Jr. And Kenny was like, I mean, what do you want me to say? Last week I was a champion. Now I'm not. No, I put a lot of effort into this team now that we're no longer the champions. If there's a rematch, I don't think I want to be a part of it. And he wants to be a single star again.
Now I like the Kenny promo a little bit more than I like the Hangman interview, just because it was a lot easier to understand. You can see where Kenny was coming from. He kind of was skeptical of the pairing to begin with, and he's always felt he was going to be a single star, and he didn't reach to that. He didn't reach to that height, and he wants to go back and he wants to try that again. That was straightforward. It was understandable. Yeah, Kenny probably is going to be a heel at the end of this, but at least I understood where he was coming from more. With Hangman, it's still kind of out there, and it's like, okay, you did this bad thing to your friends because someone else told you to do something. And it's just kind of this whole cluster mess that I'm hoping, and I'm trying to put some faith in AEW at this point, but I'm kind of questioning what they're doing with Hangman. Because he was so hot, and he was like a slam dunk babyface, top tier guy. And now it's like, he's literally down in the dumps right now.
Yeah. I mean, it's one of those things where we shall wait and see. All right, ladies and gentlemen, the man that is responsible for this drop.
Ooh, a little bit of the bubbly.
He teamed up with the Big Hurt, Jake Hager, to take on Sonny Kiss and Joey Janela in a no disqualification tag team match. The Inner Circle gets the win, and Jericho, he says it was a bad night for the Inner Circle at All Out. They all lost, but that doesn't matter. We're looking forward, and he says he and Hager are going to try to build up their wins and get a shot at the AEW Tag Team Championships. What are your thoughts on Jericho stepping out of the single scene and the main event scene to go and try to have a run with the Tag Team Gold?
I think it's something different. I think Jericho, kind of at this point of his career, if he doesn't have a singles guy or singles idea that he really needs to do, he doesn't need to just be floundering and just kind of doing these random matches. And if he's in a tag team where Jake could, I mean, I don't know if I'd say carry a majority of the match, because I think Jericho is going to be in there and putting a lot of heat on him and, doing a majority of the actual wrestling part of it. But it does take a little bit off of Jericho, who's up there in age. It's different. But with FTR as the champions, they're a heel. Inner Circle is a heel. I don't see Jake Hager turning babyface during this, or even if he does, being a successful one at that. But it's different. I'll look at it and see what happens. But at the very beginning of AEW, we didn't talk about this. They did like the corniest, so like made up, like it was basically WWE, where you get both the things people meet at the same time, and then for some reason they split off and you have a camera, and it's the heels being nice to each other, to their faces, and then being heels behind their back, which I thought, okay, maybe this means Chris Jericho was turning babyface, but then after this, it didn't seem like that's the case.
No. I don't know if Jericho can be a babyface, like a true babyface ever again. I mean, obviously, like we love him, for the tenure and all the years and miles and work he's put in, but he can keep this gimmick up for the remainder of his career in AEW. I didn't actually see that. I've heard about it, and there are mixed reactions about it. That's all right. Speaking of Maxwell Jacob Friedman, he cuts a promo in his campaign office. He says the campaign is over, and the girls still try to smile through it all. And he's like, "I don't want to see your pearly yellows. Get out of here." Yeah. And then he and Wardlow have a little war of words, and MJF's like, TK doesn't sign your checks. I do. You know what I mean? Oh, what that. TK doesn't sign your checks. I do. So, what are your thoughts on the potential breakup of Wardlow and Maxwell?
It was a tease. I mean, I think we've seen some dissension a time or two between MJF and Wardlow. The thing is, usually when that's the case, the big guy breaking off is going to be the babyface. We haven't seen Wardlow really be that type of character quite yet. I don't know how you're going to be able to get the crowd behind Wardlow. I mean, unless MJF just really lays it on thick. And
Dude,
it's
not to cut you off, I'm sorry, but his moveset alone, like if you see his indie work, like he's doing, like for a man his size to be doing tope con hilos, tope planchas, hurricanranas, Frankensteiners, poison ranas, all this stuff, like his moveset alone will get him over with the crowd. So I think they can have a nice little build, and they can take it to Full Gear in November, and we have the big blow-off match for the emancipation, you could say, of Wardlow from Maxwell Jacob Friedman.
I think that actually can be like a good full circle type thing. Because did MJF turned on Cody at Full Gear, correct?
Yeah, and what you call it? That would be a year since Wardlow's been with the company.
So yeah, it could be like a nice full circle thing. I think MJF really has to like lay it on thick to really get the people behind Wardlow, because I think right now people don't like Wardlow. But if you just keep hammering that home, Full Gear is almost 2 months away from now. So just keep laying it on thick, and Wardlow kind of goes to it, but the MJF is just able to reel him back in. But then finally in November, he just goes one step too far, and then he just lays him out, and that can, not make him, but it can be a nice amount of a moment because MJF finally gets shut up.
And then you could kind of tie it into the thing that he had with Cody, to where Cody offers Wardlow an actual AEW contract.
There you go. Because
way,
MJF pays for Wardlow, not Tony Khan, as he said.
Absolutely, man. Also, we have a Moxley promo, and he's talking about Lance Archer. What are your thoughts on that?
I thought it was good, straightforward. They cut the promo. I mean, both of them cut, I thought, good promos. Him and then Jake the Snake in front of that graffiti wall. I mean, we're gonna have to wait a month for the next title match between these two guys. But I really like the match they had in New Japan. So if they can not recreate it, but at least come close to it, I think it could be a really good match.
Absolutely. Moving on, we have the FTR Championship celebration. Tully Blanchard dressed to the nines like it's 1987. I love it in that blistering heat. So FTR, I know they're talking about how we're the best tag team wrestlers in the world, and I know you guys want your shots. He says Kazarian Daniels, man, 20 years ago, who knows who would have won between us? Just playing the fact that like they're older gentlemen. He's talking about Billy Gunn, you're a tag team legend, and you're in some second-rate Hall of Fame. So I see Dax Harwood has the same thoughts about the WWE Hall of Fame as Brandon. But then Jurassic Express, they get in the ring, and FTR, they skedaddle out of there, and the cooler of beers dumped on FTR, and everybody gets cake. So next week, FTR versus Jurassic Express, non-title. Yeah,
I thought it was a good segment, definitely reiterating that these guys are heels. They are all nicey nice to everyone, but then they kind of do those backhanded compliments. And I thought it was good. I think, as I said, Jurassic Express has had some good matches leading up to this. But, I mean, from storyline standpoint, I don't know why the Young Bucks weren't in this match between them and Lucha Bros, because technically they did win the match at All Out. But it is whatever. It should be a really good match next week. I would definitely assume FTR gets the win and just kind of build them up later on down the line. I don't really know at this point what that match would be. The Young Bucks are always out there, but the Young Bucks are kind of leaning towards a heel role at the moment. So I don't know if you want to do heel Young Bucks and heel FTR, but it's out there. You just never know when they're going to pull the trigger on it.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely. Also, we have Darby Starks. He cuts a promo about Darby Allin. This was obviously Ricky Starks in a Darby Allin cosplay. Any thoughts on this?
Not really, but I did forget to talk about this in the Casino Battle Royale. The Darby Allin spot with thumbtacks, body bag, and chucked over was so stupid and unnecessary. I mean, they do this mid-match. You do the spot. It's scary. And then it's just like, it was nothing. He does the spot, and then that's it. Like, if you do that, first off, I wouldn't say you do the spot to begin with, but at least do it like at the end so it's memorable. By the time you do it midway through, you just kind of forget about it. I just didn't like that. And Darby needs to kind of cut back on all these. I know he loves doing these spots, and, talk to Matt Hardy, not just what he did on that same night, but just kind of overall, and talk to Jeff Hardy. Sometimes you love to do all these death-defying things. It doesn't always pay out in the end.
Talk to Matt Sydal.
Oof.
Yeah.
Shockmaster 2.0.
Yeah, shout out to the homie Will Hobbs checking in on him, making sure he was okay. We have Nyla Rose defeating Tay Conti. She was offered a contract. She's officially all elite. She was crying when she came out. The tears in her eyes. But it's okay. She took this loss, but there's always the Dark Order.
There is always the Dark Order. Nyla Rose, the number one contender, so I don't know if they're going to go straight into that match with Hikaru Shida.
If she was the number one contender for 16 weeks, why wasn't she in the match at All Out?
Because sometimes this happens at UFC. Not always the number one contender is the championship contender, because Nyla Rose has had the championship. She's been there, done that. She's lost, and maybe it's time for a new person to step in to see if they can get it. Maybe it's sometimes better to have the new contender than the number one contender.
Oh, okay. Very well said. Very well said. Any thoughts on Nyla Rose being a vicious vixen with Vicky Guerrero?
Nobody got hurt. That's all we can ask for. And it seemingly we are getting Nyla Rose and Hikaru Shida. We've seen this match, I think, one too many times at this point. So, yeah, I mean, I really don't know what to say. It feels like Nyla Rose and Shida are like the two people on the women's roster at this point. It's just cycling them back and forth.
When is Britt getting her opportunity?
Someone needs to wake her up after she got gas.
Yeah, dude. I was a fan of the gas. I love the gas.
Just like Odell Beckham.
So Brody Lee retains the TNT Championship against the natural Dustin Rhodes. Dustin putting up a fight, even in his old age, he can still tough it out with the best of them. All in all, discus lariat, boom, 1, 2, 3. Brody Lee is still the champion of America's greatest network.
I really like this match. Dustin got a lot of offense and a lot more than what Cody did, but then in the end, Brody Lee was just too much. Get that discus lariat in and gets the win. I thought it was really good. Lay out the Nightmare family a little bit more, really build up for Cody's illustrious return once he's done doing his Go Big show on TNT or TBS, whatever the hell it is. But it's good. I really like what Brody Lee's doing right now. I think it was a shaky start when he came in, lost to Jon Moxley doing a lot of the Vince McMahon stuff. Yeah, he does a lot of the Vince McMahon stuff on Being the Elite, which we saw him throw some shade at the Twitch thing as well. But I think Brody Lee definitely has hit his stride here in AEW.
Absolutely, 100%. All right, Superstar Spotlight. Who do we got?
I just said I'll go with Brody Lee. Why not? I know maybe the tag team match at All Out, honestly, shouldn't have happened. But I really did like the match they had on Dynamite. And, maybe one of the bright spots of AEW, because I think AEW is a little down this week.
Yeah. I was a guest on the Wrestling War Room this morning. That's why we were late here. But I said I think NXT did win the week. So I'll give it to the Prince. I'll give it to Finn Balor, new NXT champion. I'll also give it to Miro. It's Miro Day. Get Aiden English in there. His wife and mother-in-law work for the company too. Let's just make it a family affair over in AEW. I love it. All right, our promo pick of the week: Tully Blanchard and Arn Anderson, the NWA World Tag Team Champions, 1987. This is Tully doing what he does, talking up a storm. Then Arn Anderson comes in with a nice story for him and let the Road Warriors know that at Starrcade, they're not going to get their hands on these pieces of gold. What are your thoughts on that?
Just a classic promo. I think people kind of forget how good Arn and Tully are, even in today's AEW atmosphere. I think they're definitely really good. I think Arn Anderson still has it. I think Tully, not so much so, but I think Arn was always kind of the talker of the two. And just another stellar promo by these guys, definitely in their prime, going against the Road Warriors. Big time matchup right there.
Absolutely, man. Brandon is going to tell us about our match pick of the week, which I thought it was pretty nice. I enjoyed it.
So I picked Adam Cole versus Prince Devitt, also known as Finn Balor. So I was thinking, watching the NXT match, both these guys are on the indie scene. They were never I never really think of them as intertwined or really having any matches. So I looked it up, Adam Cole versus Prince Devitt, see what I can find. And I found them at a Rev Pro Show, Summer Sizzle 2014. Now, this isn't on YouTube, but if you just simply type in Adam Cole versus Prince Devitt on the Google machine, it'll come up on some Japanese website or whatever. It won't give you no virus. Trust me, you'll be good. A very good match between these two fellows right here. Lively crowd. It's Rev Pro, so the crowd's going to be hot for it. Really good match by these guys on the indie scene.
Absolutely. All right, ladies and gentlemen, that is going to wrap it up. Follow us on Twitter at Bulletcast, Instagram, The Bulletcast, YouTube channel, The Bulletcast. Email us, bulletcast2 is the number 2, sweetswet@gmail.com. Every Thursday night in Watsonville from 9 p.m. to 10 p.m., 99.9 FM KW in Watsonville. Brandon, they actually invited us to be guests at a taco festival this past weekend. But, with the Rona and everything, didn't want to go out and do that.
And I was up in Yosemite, so I was booked.
We were going to be the guests of honor, man, but you were already booked, and I was looking out for my health and all this other stuff. Maybe next time. All right, iTunes, Stitcher, TuneIn, iHeartRadio, Anchor, Spotify, Patreon. We're all over the damn place. TJP is going up on Friday, tomorrow morning. It's a great interview. We really just chop it up, and he's such a cool cat, man. I love chopping it up with TJ. We even got into a little talk about ice cream in Nirvana and Blink-182. It's great. Absolutely great. And then Sunday, I'm doing an in-person interview, socially distanced, of course, I'm very excited about that, and I'm picking up a little something for the show, something that has been in the works for a very long time, and I'm really just excited that this project is finished, and I can't wait to reveal it to the world and to the BC Nation. Yes, sir.
I may or may not know what it is. Very excited to see the finished product, and I feel like you guys will be too.
Absolutely. All right. Thank you guys so much. Hope you guys have enjoyed Labor Day. Hope you guys just are, as restaurants and stuff start to open back up with outdoor dining and places start to open back up, be safe, but have fun while you're being safe and socially distanced. Wear your mask at all times, ladies and gentlemen. Stay clean, stay strong, stay safe, stay quarantined. Diamonds are forever, and so is the microphone messiah.